Kappa!
Kappa?
Kappa nani sama, Kappa sama. Kappa nani sama, Kappa sama.
俺たちカッパにゃ皿があるお水がたっぷり入ってる水も滴るいいカッパカッパはきれいきれいはカッパカッパ何様カッパ何様カッパ様
カッパ何様、カッパ様。カッパ何様、カッパ様。
俺たちカッパにゃ意地があるどすこい相撲は負けないぞでかい相手もへもカッパカッパは強い強いはカッパカッパ何様カッパ何様カッパ様
カッパ何様、カッパ様。カッパ何様、カッパ様。カッパ何様、カッパ様。カッパ何様。
俺たちカッパにゃ夢があるキュウリをちょうだいできるならたとえ火の中水の中カッパは偉い偉いはカッパカッパ何様カッパ何様カッパ何様カッパ何様カッパ様今回も動画を見てくれてありがとう
チャンネル登録よろしくね。他にもおすすめ動画があるから見てみてね。次の動画で待ってるね。
バイバイ
Hi friends, this is Miss Cheryl from the Coldwater District Library, Coldwater Branch, and today I want to talk with you about a mythological Japanese creature called a Kappa. And now Kappas are water creatures. They typically live in streams or rivers, and they are ancient Japanese characters. Now, the Kappa typically has a body, it's kind of a cross between a frog and a human. They have a shell on their back, it's like a turtle shell. They've got a face that looks like a monkey, but with a beak of like a turtle, especially if you think of a snapping turtle. And then they have the arms and the hands, the legs, and the feet of a frog. But they have claws on them, kind of like an alligator or a crocodile. And their most unique feature is the bowl on their head, and I'll explain about that later. Now, typically the Kappa loved to attack travelers. Back in ancient days in Japan, people usually rode a horse if they could afford it. And so they would ambush the horse, the human rider, if they could. And now Kappas could be either really, really mean monsters, or they could just be kind of mischievous, or they could actually be kind of helpful. And there's stories of them actually helping humans. But if you could, you wanted to avoid them. Now, if you're clever, if you were a clever human and you knew you were going to cross a river or something where there could possibly be a Kappa, the smartest thing you did, believe it or not, was to take cucumbers with you. Kappa's favorite food were cucumbers, and they loved cucumbers even more than they loved tricking humans and horses. So if you threw cucumbers into the river, you were probably safe. And now, although the Kappa is roughly the size of a 10-year-old child, they had the strength of probably 3, 4, 5 human beings. But the most unique feature of the Kappa was the bowl on its head. And that bowl has to stay filled with water for the Kappa to keep its strength. And if that water comes out of its bowl, it's either going to get super duper weak or it's going to die. And Kappa typically live, like I said, in the water, but they could come out on the land. But to do so, they had to keep their magic bowl on their head filled with water. And if that water falls out, again, they would lose their strength or worse. So if a person met a Kappa on land, the trick was to bow to it. And probably a lot of you know, it's very traditional Japanese culture. You always bow to people when you meet them. So often when a human would bow to a Kappa, the Kappa would bow back, and it would lose its water from its dish and become weaker, and then you could escape from it. And then back in the day, the Kappa was considered a fierce monster. People would go to all lengths to avoid being captured by it. And then it started to fade away. It was kind of, oh yeah, that's just kind of tradition. Maybe you believed in it, maybe you didn't. And nowadays, it's considered a cute little thing, and people will sell t-shirts or keychains or little toys of the Kappa. So that's how it's changed over the centuries, really, in Japanese culture. And next, we're going to learn how to make our own Kappa out of origami paper. Thank you. Now it's time to make our Kappa origami. And so, a few tips on folding origami are, you want to get your edges as accurate as possible. The closer you get them to matching, happier you're going to be with the results. The second thing is, you want to crease your paper pretty strongly. And you are also going to see me fold and unfold a little bit, and you're going to say, why are you unfolding when I just folded? But what those lines are going to do for you, they're going to be your anchor, your grounding point, your direction, so that you can match up the other folds that are going to be your permanent project. And paper is very adjustable. If you make a little bit of a mistake, you can either unfold it and restart, or just kind of shift it around a little bit with your hands. And the last thing, most origami projects start with a center fold, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So you're going to take your paper, you're going to fold it in half, crease it, match up your edges. Then you're going to unfold it, do the same from the opposite side, crease it, and match up those edges. Then we're going to take it and fold a little cap down. This is going to be the head. Do you remember I told you about how the Kappa have the water bowl in their head? This is what that's going to be. So you're going to want to do a little triangle. Make sure it's level across the top. Then this is probably the trickiest thing you're going to have to do. You want to make a little triangle like this. And again, make sure it aligns with this. So you've got an angled edge, but it's all gonna be straight. And you're gonna do with the same with the other side. And here I'm not quite right, so I'm gonna move it a little bit. And there we go. And now, I apologize, the instructions I printed off are missing a step, and I labeled it as 4.5. It's between steps 4 and 5. You'll see it posted at the bottom of your sheet. And what they didn't tell you, you're going to take the bottom. Now this is going to be the bottom one. You're going to fold it up to about 3/4. 3/4 of the way to the cap. This is going to be the Kappa's beak. And so you've got, again, get your edge nice and level, nice and straight. Then you're going to fold this part down, and there you get that nice little Kappa beak. Now you're going to fold it, flip it over. Okay, now towards the end, you're going to fold this guy over, keep it perpendicular. So these edges match. And again, I was just a touch off, so I'm going to recrease it. And the same with this one, so that they line up. And these two center points are just going to cross over just a touch. But hopefully you can see how these are lining up with the back. You're going to fold this up just a touch to make these line up. And then you have your Kappa. And now there's 2 ways you can do this. In your packet, you'll get some googly eyes. You can do it like that. Or on the instructions that you're going to get, they will draw the eyes on it themselves. However you'd like to do it, you can. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you have fun and enjoyed this program. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.